Escalating conflict between the state and federal government at the border.
Texas has the legal authority to control ingress and egress into any geographic location in the state of Texas.
The state blocks federal law enforcement from one part of the Rio Grande. We look closer at the stakes and the response.
I think it's a failure to follow and execute the law, the failure to detain and remove those coming into the country illegally.
New progress in the plan to kick the Homeland Security Secretary out of office. Why concern about immigration has one influential congressman pushing for impeachment. Freezing weather in the forecast raises concerns about whether your power stays on.
As we play ERCOT weather roulette, if we come up a loser, we come up a loser no matter what the governor says.
Why state leaders and energy experts are offering assurance and caution.
Produced from the Capitol in Austin and airing statewide, this is the award-winning State of Texas.
Hello, and thank you for joining us. I'm Josh Hinkle. An unprecedented move at the border as state law enforcement blocks federal agents from accessing a public park along the Rio Grande. On Thursday, the mayor of Eagle Pass posted a video on social media showing DPS closing off the park to the public. Later that day, Border Patrol agents trying to patrol the area were blocked from entering the park. This is an escalation in an ongoing dispute between the state and federal government over authority to enforce immigration law. Governor Abbott said the state has the right to keep the feds out.
Texas has the legal authority to control ingress and egress into any geographic location in the state of Texas, and that authority is being asserted with regard to that park in Eagle Pass, Texas, to maintain operational control of it.
On Friday, the Department of Homeland Security filed a memo with the U.S. Supreme Court saying the state's actions are hampering their operations along the Rio Grande. There's a lot here to unpack. For perspective, I spoke with Sandra Sanchez. She covers South Texas for our Border Report team and has been following the developments in Eagle Pass. So we saw the Eagle Pass mayor post a video on Facebook saying that DPS took over a city park. What can you tell us about this park? Why is this significant?
Yeah, it's Shelby Park, and it is 35 acres. It's the only public boat ramp for the entire city of Eagle Pass. Eagle Pass is a tiny border town of about 28,000. Not tiny, but it's a relatively small South Texas town. Families like to go to Shelby Park and celebrate holidays and birthdays, crack cascarones at Easter on each other's heads. It's a real gathering place. It's also the parking area for downtown shopping, as well as people who want to go across the bridge, who want to walk across the bridge to Piedras Negras, Mexico. So I've been told by locals that they've lost all of their parking spaces, that parking is free. And downtown merchants could suffer as well. And, you know, they have nowhere to put in their kayak or enjoy the river.
Thursday night, DPS blocked federal border agents from entering the park to process migrants. You've covered enforcement all along the border. Have we ever seen this level of conflict between state and federal entities?
No, we really haven't. I mean, it's been coming to a boiling point with the border buoys that were put up, with the fact that federal agents were taking wire cutters to cut down some of the wire fencing in order for them to get to migrants. So it's kind of been leading to this point. It is a bit surprising, though, that it happened at Shelby Park this recently, because, you know, the numbers have dropped significantly of migrants trying to cross. One thing I didn't tell you earlier about Shelby Park is it is an area where you can look across to Piedras Negras and you see they have a park there. A lot of people, migrants who are trying to cross into the U.S., will stage themselves right there, put themselves into the water. The water is very fierce and wide at that point, and they'll swirl down the river and end up about a mile and a half on the U.S. side, on the other side. So they don't necessarily come out at Shelby Park, but they come down river. And so DPS agents several months ago took over the boat ramp, and that's where they're launching their boats. They have a staging area, and they're monitoring that section of the river. I was on a ride along with the Maverick County Sheriff's Office deputy, actually the very first day that they took control of the area a couple months ago, and he was shocked that they wouldn't let him into the parking lot. And he said, this is my town. I don't understand what's going on. They have clearly become very territorial of this spot at a time when the numbers are down. I mean, a couple weeks ago, we were seeing 4,700 migrants crossing per day into Eagle Pass. Now it's about 400 a day. The Hope Border Mission migrant shelter is practically empty. And so why do it right now?
The park takeover comes just days after Homeland Security Secretary Mayorkas visited the border. We've heard him say that the immigration system is broken. What was the reaction from local leaders and people living in border communities to that assessment?
Well, they absolutely agree. And they're tired of being in the spotlight. They're tired of being highlighted. They don't want the only thing about Eagle Pass is that you see thousands of people in thermal blankets sitting in a field waiting to be processed. There's so much more to their community, to other border communities, and they're really tired of this. They also really they use the term political theater, dog and pony show a lot to me. Groups of politicians will come down from one side or the other, Republicans or Democrats, in a group, as we saw recently, 60 Republicans came down, and they'll just highlight, everything that's wrong. It's chaos, everything that's wrong. And they really want solutions. Now, they agree that something needs to change, something needs to happen. They want lawful immigration. I've never spoken to anyone who doesn't agree with that. They're just really tired of this happening over and over again. I think the more lawmakers come and understand that is helpful, but just spewing negative comments about the chaos and constantly repeating the rhetoric can be hurtful to the communities, and they really want some solution.
All right, Sandra Sanchez with Border Report. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you.
The Homeland Security Secretary called on Congress to act to address immigration policy, but some lawmakers want action that involves kicking him out of office.
They're fed up. They think this man should be removed from office, and they want him impeached.
Why one influential Texan is adding his voice to the efforts to remove Alejandro Mayorkas. As temperatures go down, will your power stay on? We hear from state leaders and energy experts to find out what you need to know before the storm.